Now, before we move on to how I get started. How do I start? That's an excellent question, and probably the most asked and most loaded question that I receive. Now, like I said before, no two voice actors have the same journey to get to where they are now, or the same definition of what success is to them. But what they do have in common is that they all started with training. Before they got the big gig, before they got the big fancy booth and the $2,000 mic and the big fancy agents and managers, they had to start somewhere. And that's with a teacher, or several teachers. Whether that's taking a voiceover class, or an improv class, or an acting class. Remember, big A, little v. It all starts with training, and it is so important that before you go off to pay money to get a demo produced, or to submit to agencies, or any of that, start with some classes. Group classes are great. And right now, so many acting studios have group classes online. So many improv studios have classes online. And there are great voice acting classes online with casting directors and actors who are in this right now doing it. So seek them out, find it. Again, diversify as much as possible. Take what works, save the rest for later. Another great option for training is a private coach. Now, with private coaches, I will say I would hold off on getting a coach until you've taken a couple group classes. When you first start out in voiceover, you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it. Group classes are great for figuring out what you don't know. Then, when you find out what you don't know, find a private coach who knows exactly what you need to know. The great thing about private coaches is that they can deep dive on whatever you need for your specific situation. Whether you want to learn more about audiobooks, how to build characters for animation, how to do TV promos or radio imaging, any of that. But again, hold off to get some experience. Now, in terms of how I'd recommend approaching your training, and again, this is just my recommendation, does not have to be the way you do it, but how I would approach it is, first, taking this course, build that foundation. You're doing it right now, great start. Second would be the group classes. Third, auditioning. We'll get more into how and where to audition in just a moment. Fourth would be private coaching, and fifth would be more workshops, group classes, workouts. The learning never stops, and some of the best learning happens from your peers. All of my favorite resources for training are listed in the PDF included in this course. Everything from Facebook groups to private coaches to group classes, all of it's listed. So check it out, reach out to me if you have any questions, and use your community. I said it before, and I'm about to say it again. Make sure you diversify your perspectives, especially when it comes to training. Take one class from somebody one week, take another the next week. Make sure that you're not prescribing to one credo in voiceover training. Very, very important. Another thing that you'll hear me say to a lot of my students is grow as you go. All this means is that I don't want you spending $2,000 on a professionally made demo when you haven't even taken a group class yet, or you haven't had a private coaching yet, or you don't even have a microphone yet. Take the money that you've saved and set aside to start this journey and invest what you can, and take the classes you can afford. Buy the mic that you can afford. Then when you start making a little bit more money, you can grow as you go and slowly build into better equipment, bigger demos, and better space.